So, for today's movie review, I'll be reviewing the movie Evolver. Basically, it's a 1995 science fiction movie that stars William H. Macy as the title character, Evolver. Yes, that guy. And from what I could dig up in the film, it doesn't necessarily have a cult following, but apparently a lot of people like it. And also, it was shown a lot on Sci Fi, or at least the early days of Sci Fi. So, is the movie really that good? So, the plot of Evolver revolves around this kid who wins this contest, and as a prize he gets this toy robot. And as the movie progresses, the robot gains a mind of its own and essentially starts to kill people. And yeah, that's really about it for a plot. So in terms of what I liked about the movie, pretty much the robot is the main highlight of the movie. And it's just nice to see a little practical effect like used in the movie once in a while. And I like the direction it goes, because when I told you about the plot, it sounds like a science fiction movie, but then when you watch the movie itself, it goes from being a science fiction movie to being a horror film. And it's like, wow, this is actually kind of creepy. It's cool and fun, but it's also just really creepy. And the acting, I think, could have been better, but it wasn't too horrible. And in terms of what I disliked about the film, I feel like the problem with this movie is it's too predictable. No, seriously. Pretty much, I predicted what was going to happen throughout the entire movie. Like, from the time you watch this movie till the end, you pretty much know what's gonna happen. In terms of like, okay, who gets killed, how they get killed, and essentially what's gonna happen next. And yeah, the CGI is bad, but it's not used that often, and also it's only used in the video game segments, so it's not really a big part of the movie in the first place. And yeah, that's really about it for likes and dislikes of the movie. Now, as for the characters in the movie, they're not really that interesting, because you got the main character, Kyle, whose only defining characteristic is that he's a hacker, and he likes computers more than he does people, and he's very competitive. And as for his friend, he too is a nerd, but he's a big pervert. And then the main character is a little sister who's annoying as hell. Then you got the main character's love interest, who's basically the girl who is new in town and slowly starts to fall in love with the main character and learn more about him. And yeah, that's really about it for the characters. I felt they were kind of flat. As for the main villain, Evolver, for a robot, he's got a bit more personality than the human characters. And Evolver's a fucking robot. And another thing I liked about this robot is essentially how curious he is. Because you see him like watching a lot of TV, and he basically like recites lines and shit. And you know, at the start of the movie, he goes from being like a typical robot, like having no personality. But then as the movie progresses, he becomes more psychotic and becomes more sadistic as well. But my only dislike for the character is essentially the gimmick for the main villain is that every time you beat him in one of the games, he essentially evolves into the next form. So in other words, he either grows a body part or he grows a bit taller. His final form I found to be a bit of a letdown, but beyond that, he was a pretty cool character. Also, he's voiced by William H. Macy. What could go wrong? So for my final verdict of Evolver, I love the special effects for the robot itself, not the CGI crap, but like the actual like robotic miniature. And I love the tone of the movie because it goes from being what could have been a family film to being like a horror movie. And wow, this movie gets creepy fast. And my only dislike for the movie is that it's too predictable. Like, you know what's gonna happen from the get-go of the movie to the end, which I think made the movie a bit less enjoyable for me, but still okay movie. And as for the characters, like, they have their defining characteristics, like, okay, you get the nerd, the perverted nerd, the annoying sister, the love interest who just came into town and is interested and just falls in love with the main character. And I mean, yeah, they have their defining characteristics, but I just found to be a bit boring. The robot, Evolver, on the other hand, has a bit more personality than the people, and he's a goddamn robot. And the dude is fucking awesome. Also, he's voiced by William H. Macy. What's not to love? So, before I give my final rating, what does everyone else have to say about Evolver? So, it looks like Evolver got mixed to negative reviews, and my final rating for Evolver, I give it a 3 out of 5. So, what's your favorite killer robot that's not the Terminator? And see you later.